In this example, we have a problem dealing with cost function, and so it's like a real-world application in a business problem or something. So it says here's a function c of x, 20x plus 6,000, and it represents the cost to produce x number of items. So you're in business, you're producing x's and or bikes or something, and this is how much it costs to produce, 1,000 bikes or something like that. Okay. Now, in part A, they want us to find the average cost of what it is to produce a bike, okay? Or of so many bikes. So what we do is we take the 20x plus 6,000. That's how much it costs to produce, say 1,000 bikes. And if you want to find the average cost, then you have to divide it by the number of bikes that you produced, 1,000, okay? So that would be the average cost function right there. So they used little c x to represent that. So up here it was an uppercase c, and down here it was a lowercase c. So now it says, here's our cost function to produce bikes. And now if we divide by how many bikes we're producing, that will represent the average cost of producing a bike, which that would be helpful to know, the average cost of a bike, what it is to make a bike, so you can figure out how much to charge so you'll make money. Okay? All right. So now it says how many items should be produced so that the average cost is less than $60. So we're going to take that cost function we had, 20x plus 6,000 over x, and we want that to be less than $60. So we want the average cost of producing, say, a bike or whatever you're producing, to be less than $60. So that's the inequality. And now we need to subtract the 60. So now it's just a math problem like the other ones. But math works. So. Now I'd have to get a common denominator. You can think of it as 60 over 1. So I'm going to multiply by x in the numerator and x in the denominator. Then that's going to give me 20x plus 6,000 minus 60x all over x, and we want that to be less than 0. Okay, so now what do I get? I get 6,000 minus 40x, or you could write that as, you know what, I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to put it in standard form. So negative 40x plus 6,000 over x, and we want that to be less than 0. So now we're doing, what we've done in the other problems. We need to say, when is the numerator 0? When is negative 40x plus 6,000? When does that equal 0? Well, if I subtract the 6,000, you might be worried about that negative on the 40, but don't worry. It's all going to work. X equals, I think it's 150, if I remember right. Yeah. Okay, so that's a boundary point, okay? And then the other boundary point is going to be when the denominator is 0. When the denominator is 0. So the other boundary point, so we have boundary points, I'll just say BP. We have one at 150, and the other one's going to be at 0. Okay, so here comes our number line. Here's 0. Here's 150. And I need it to be less than $60, right? I don't think it said less than or equal to. Less than, less than $60. Well, it can't, we're not going to make 0 bikes for one thing, or whatever we're making. And it's not going to be 150 either, because it's got to be less than 60. Okay? So now we're going to use our test points. You could kind of count out this section, because it's not going to be, it's not going to be less, you're not going to make less, a negative number of bikes. Okay, so that section doesn't even really factor into the problem. Okay, good. That makes it a little bit easier. So now we need to pick a number between 0 and 150. All right. So let's say 10. Then you'd have negative 40 times 10 plus 6,000 over 10. Is that going to be less than 0? Well, you're going to get a positive number in the numerator. I don't know what it is. It's going to be like 5,600, I think. Yeah. Over 10. And is that going to be less than 0? No. So, no for that section. Now, what about the other section? What if I make like 200 bikes? Well, I'd have negative 40 times 200 plus 6,000 over 200. And is that less than 0? Well, maybe I want to do a little math on this. So I think I'm getting negative 8,000 plus 6,000 over 200. But the point is that the numerator is going to be negative. So you're going to have like negative 2,000 over 200, which I picked kind of nice numbers. That's a fluke. I just picked a number bigger than 150. But the point is it's negative. Let's see, what is it? Like negative 10 is less than 0, which is true. So yes. So what does that mean? It means if we want the average cost to be, so yes. So what does it all mean? It means if you want the average cost to be less than $60, you have to make more than 150. So make more than 150 of whatever you're producing. So, okay. So that makes sense. If you make more of the item, the average cost should be lower. So in this case, we're saying, well, if we make more than 150 items, then we can get the average cost to be less than $60 for the item. Okay?